Listen up, get ready, I'm not gonna take no more. There's a revolution, a revelation going on in my soul. Buckle up, get ready, we're not gonna sit back.
Okay, all you citizens of the world, it's time for another edition of Live from the Heartland. This is for the week of August 15th, and we're recording it on the 13th, and we have a loaded show today. A couple things I'd like to say at the start is we're going to miss the great pianist, composer, band leader, Eddie Palmieri. I saw him once at the Aragon. Quite a guy. He was a great musician, and I've been listening to some of his music. Regarding the world, you all, if you're watching PBS, if you're watching Al Jazeera, you're getting some really good glimpses of the horror that's going on in a number of places. Even getting a little bit of a dose of it on PBS is enough to really turn your heart. We've got a lot of work to do, and we can take some solace in knowing that there are a lot of great people out there doing some real good work, trying to save our democracy and make the world a better place. All that said, I'd like to turn now to my pal, the newly appointed assistant dean at DePaul University and the noted geographer, the one and only Euan Hague. Good morning to you, Euan.
Morning, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. And I asked you to come on because when we got together the other day, you let me know that you were going to be on Scotland's BBC. And that was early this morning of the 13th. And you were going to talk about someone we're not a big fan of, the Vice President of the United States, and his horrible book, Hillbilly Eulogy, which came up because he's on his way to Scotland. So fill us in, give us a short report on your thoughts on Scotland with the incoming Vice President of the United States.
Yeah, so J.D. Vance, like his boss a couple of weeks ago, Donald Trump, is headed to Scotland this week. And in his book, Hillbilly Elegy, he talks a lot about his Scots-Irish descent. And he talks about this as an unchanging ethnic identity that is central to the core of American white working class values. And so I think it's just kind of interesting that in the first 6 months of their presidency, both J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have traveled to Scotland. Now, Trump obviously has a direct ancestral connection. His mom is from there. But J.D. Vance is kind of pushing this idea in his book of being Scots-Irish. And he talks about this being a commitment to an unchanging traditional commitment to family and to culture and to patriotism and to a kind of robust honor-driven masculinity. And he's going to Scotland this week I don't know why he's going to Scotland. And from the conversations I had with the media in Scotland, nobody over there seems to know why he's going to Scotland either. But I think it's very interesting that when Trump went to Scotland, he kind of he likes his golf courses and he likes that kind of very kind of rural Scotland, but he doesn't like the modern Scotland impinging on that, which is the windmills and alternative energy. And similarly, with J.D. Vance going to Scotland this week, he's going to a rural retreat, a large manor house in hundreds of acres of open land. And again, he's been critical of the modern Scotland, in particular, its laws on buffer zones and anti-abortion protests and so forth. And so it's kind of interesting that both of these men who claim a connection to sort of Scottish ethnicity and ancestry, it really is a very rural, backward-looking, traditional vision of the country rather than the modern reality that is there.
Well, that's a good little bit of information about not only that book, but Scotland. How different is Scotland today from when it was
than what it was 300 years ago?
Yeah, 300 years ago.
Well, I think that question answers itself, right? But I think that's the challenge here is quite often in the United States, particularly this idea of Scots-Irish identity, is the idea that that your ethnicity is somehow unchanging, that it is sort of tied to some deep ancestral past, and that modernity is somehow that is not connected to that ethnic identity, and that ethnic identity is somehow the kind of core authenticity of an individual, which is, I think, is to some extent what Trump thinks, to some extent what JD Vance thinks. You go back and you find a kind of ancestor that defines who you are. And so obviously, you know, Scotland is a modern country. It's not bagpipes and kilts. I mean, that is available for purchase, but most people are working their jobs, going to school, just, you know, as you'd expect.
Well, as a Scotsman yourself, do you ever wear a kilt?
My kilt has shrunk recently. I haven't worn it for I haven't worn my kilt for a few years. But you know, we go to if we had in Scotland, you have these things called ceilidhs, which are kind of like dance parties at New Year's Eve or something like that. So I think the most recent time I wore a kilt was at a New Year's Eve ceilidh, probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Euan Hague, give us a little short thing about Scotland today and its political direction.
Well, the Scotland is politically left of centre, definitely. Both the two biggest political parties are the Scottish National Party and the Labour Party. Keir Starmer, of course, is the UK Prime Minister. Issues of independence and governance are still being discussed. But I think without having the Conservatives in Westminster, that antagonism is a little less than it was maybe 5 years ago.
Well, that was good to hear. My wife is sending me notes here about connecting Scotland to Appalachia. You got any wrap on that?
Well, that's what JD Vance is really talking about in Hillbilly Elegy, is that the Appalachians and his background in rural Ohio is kind of tied to this Scots-Irish identity. But if you think about it, Appalachia is a huge reason, going from the, you know, Georgia right through to Maine, and this idea of having a singular ethnic identity for that entire area of the United States that is somehow unchanging, it is just a very strange conceptualization to me of an ethnic identity. But it's one that Vance promotes in Hillbilly Elegy, and it seems to be one that that resonates with him if he's traveling to Scotland this weekend.
Well, I think he's trying to bring back that group's dominance of world politics. Okay, well, thank you very much, Euan. We're going to take a short musical break. Feel free to stick around if you want to help me on this interview with our next guest. Everyone else will be right back with more Live from the Heartland for the week of August 15th. All you citizens of the world, it's time for more Live from the Heartland for the week of August 15th. And I'm still Michael James, and I'm really honored now to have my next guest, a young musician. I've known a lot about his dad and other groups that he's played with. That would be R.L. Burnside, Junior Kimbrough. This is the one and only Garry Burnside. Good morning to you.
How you doing, man?
We're good. How is it down in Mississippi? It's hot up here.
It's hot here, too.
Well, you're going to be, just so we get it, everyone knows, you're going to be playing at a new club called For the Record, North Shore Vinyl Club. It's up in Northbrook, Illinois, and you're going to be playing there at 8 o'clock on Saturday night, the 16th. And it's a record release. You're on Strolling Bones Records. And your new album is called It's My Time Now. Tell us a little bit about the album and about how it came to be.
Okay. Well, yeah, I will be up there this Saturday, man. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Bring a good vibe. You know, we'll have good vibes so everybody enjoy the show. But yeah, it's I've been recording with other peoples and everything for so long, you know, and everything. and all like that. And then I was just like, I wanted to try myself to see how, would work out, with my ideas and stuff like that. So I just figured like it was my time now, not being bold or anything, just wanted to do it and see how it come out, over all the stuff I have learned over the years.
How is it different from what you've learned over the years? You got a new sound, a new mixing of different genres?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily just different. I mean, it's still, I still try to keep the feel of the RL and Junior and the grooves I play, whether I write the songs myself or do a cover of them, and everything. But I mean, I have to add my generation in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's I come up with what I got. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
I like it. Well, tell us, for people who don't know, tell us a little bit about R.L. Burnside and a little bit about Junior Kimbrough. I really like listening to both of them, and as an old guy, it resonates with the way I'm sort of set up. And I do like your music too. But tell us a little bit about these legends that you come from.
Well, my dad, man, you know what I'm saying? As far as I know, he was a cool guy because, he was in his 50s when he had me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know him in his 30s or 40s, you know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, he was a great guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Loved his music, his family guy, you know what I'm saying? Everything. And real serious about school, me staying in school and everything. Even when I started playing with Junior at 11, it was hard for me to get up on Monday morning because Junior played on Sunday night, so he was real strict about it. If I couldn't go to school, I couldn't play, But I mean, that what parents do. You know what I'm saying, like that. So I mean, but he was down to earth guy, man. Real strict now. You know what I'm saying, about home stuff and everything, and school and everything. So he was a great father. And I mean, Junior taught me the road, taught me the street. I toured with Junior from 11, 12 years old. You know what I'm saying, for a long time. And so he taught me the streets. He taught me how to survive. He showed me the world with music. You know what I'm saying. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying, was tour and play. And after he passed, I just started my own thing and tried to do what I do like that, But I mean, Junior wasn't married, you know what I'm saying, had his own house. He had a girlfriend, but he had his own house and everything like that. I mean, him and Dad is totally opposite. So, I come up under what you can't go nowhere, don't you do this, don't do that, so I can do what I want to do over here. You see what I'm saying? So I learned both sides early in life, you know what I'm saying, and it was easy for me to choose in between.
Well,
as well had the bad side and the good side,
If you were 11 and 12 when you were playing with him, when did you start picking up the guitar and learning the music?
My dad and my brother had a band called the Sound Machine before I was even born. And Doin, my brother Doin, used to come over and show me stuff on guitar, 8 or 9 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? And show me. I know how to play before I even started playing with Junior. I just learned his stuff. I already could play, but I mean, I was around a lot of musicians, because it's 13 of us.
Wow. So, at age 11 and 12, what are some of your fondest memories or of great incidents or some negative stuff that went on while you were out there playing with the full tilt band, a great musician, Junior Kimbrough, and you're only a little kid? What was that like for you?
Oh man, it was fun, man. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm doing what I want to do. I'm 11, 12. I'm happy. I'm traveling. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a lot of experience. You got to grow up fast. You know what I'm saying? Out there, you know what I'm saying, when you in different states and everything like that, But I mean, it taught me a lot, and it taught me how to be humble and respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because I come up under older gentlemen. You know what I'm saying, and everything like that. So that was mostly the thing about it. You know what I'm saying? I had to stay humble and be respectful because that's where they wanted it. We were coming up like that. It was hard for 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old to be humble. So they had their job. They had a hard job, but they made it work.
Who were some of your other influences growing up? I mean, you come from a rich tradition. I mean, I'm going to read this thing that I got from some of your promo. It says, born to the bloodline of the blues, Garry Burnside carries the torch of Mississippi hill country music with fire, funk, and fearless originality. The youngest son of the legendary R.L. Burnside, Garry was raised on rhythm, cutting his teeth in juke joints, house parties, and front porches where the groove never stopped. I like that. Talk a little bit about that. Talk about the juke joints. What's a juke joint like? I got a photo book of Mississippi juke joints. You know, it's a bunch of bars or jukeboxes, some bands. It sounds like a roadhouse. What was that like going into those places?
Well, man, it was cool, man. It was laid back. Junior Kimbrough juke joint, man, was real laid back. You know, it was on a Sunday day. He opened up on a Sunday, and probably about 3 or 4 o'clock, and it stayed packed. You know, but everybody was welcome, man, no matter what color it was. It was just laid back fun. I mean, we were too young to be in there, so a lot of times we had to hide when the police come in or something. You know, right. If an incident do happen, you know what I'm saying, when the police come in, because, you know, anytime you having a good time, you're going to have security coming down and check on stuff. So we had to, you know, hide for a minute, get back out there and everything. But it was fun, man, a lot of experience and stuff, you know. And it's just something when you at the juke joint, man, the people that's that close to you, where you can feel their energy, they can feel yours. It's just different than being on a big stage in front of 1,000 people where they can't just touch you, you know. So yeah, I mean, the difference is it feels more intimate, you know.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like little clubs. I like little backyard deals. Let's talk about your new album. This is just the first album of your own solo album coming out.
Right.
And it's called "It's My Time Now." And the featured song that's getting released the day that this show goes up is called "Bad Luck City." Let's talk a little bit about how this album came to be, who you got involved with it, and what people might expect.
Okay, it's one of my dead songs, and that they did with the sound machines. But when my dad doing it, he got vocals with it. He's singing it, you know. But I mean, when I did it, I know I couldn't do him justice trying to sing it like he sung it. So I want to express to him with my guitar, to his vocals, and sing with my guitar and my feelings out of it. And for a lot of people that's having bad luck that day, or bad luck this day, or bad situation will make bad luck or whatever, this song should, you know what I'm saying, it should pull you through, because struggles gonna happen everywhere. You know, and I mean, it's I mean, if you're struggling, you might well listen to some good music. So check the Bad Luck City video out. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I got from the feel he did it, and he made me feel it with his vocals. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so strong vocal man and sing, you know. And I didn't think I could do it justice by just singing it as he did it to do it. And I ain't want it exactly like he did it. I want to put my feel in it too. So that I just didn't put the vocals in and just did it like that and just on it to him.
Tell me a little bit about your band, who you got in the band, where they come from, how long you've been together, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, I got Cav and Spike play with me on bass. You know what I'm talking about, my band now. You know what I'm saying? He from Hollow Springs too, you know what I'm saying? I've been knowing him probably about 4 or 5 years. You know, and Fred Dunlap is my drummer. He from North Carolina. Me and him been playing together probably about 11 years. Then I got Tessa, she sang vocals with me on when we do live shows and stuff, instrumental, because I do a lot of covers when I play live, because I play for a younger audience. So I have to add in a lot of more other up-to-date stuff to, you know, to keep everything going. You know what I'm saying? You got to live, you got to make money, you know. So you got to do shows where you got to play other songs. So I have to have another singer to sing those songs. You know, not necessarily to sing the stuff, the here comes stuff we do. You know, because I experience all type of music. But I got Brian West on keyboard also, and I've been knowing Brian for about 15, 16 years, you know what I'm saying, or longer. He's from Tupelo. You know, so we all come together, man, and come out with what y'all hear now on the instrumentals, and hopefully hear this weekend when the CD come out.
Have you traveled much with the band? Played a lot of shows?
Well, we did a few shows with this band, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of festivals and everything this year and everything. We've been doing pretty good, you know. But like I said, I'm doing my own booking now. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for a booking agent and everything. So I'm doing my own booking. So it's kind of going slow, but it's going.
Oh, that's good. Now look, How would you characterize your music? I read that quote earlier. It said carries the torch of Mississippi Hill country music. How do you define that? I mean, what is Mississippi Hill country music?
Well, I think I'm amongst a lot of people that carrying the torch, to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, mine is different because I put my generation into my dad and them style, which I call Hill country funk. Cause mine kind of grooving and funky, so I kind of put that with their style. It still kind of had the same feel, but I got to put me in it too somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I just do it like that, and that's just how I call it. Like that. With me.
One of the things I learned about you is that you put on a festival. I think it's called the Burnside Musical Festival. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Who's involved? How long it's been going? How did it come to be?
Elizabeth at Ripley Main Street, me and her do it together. Well, we've been doing about 4 years now where I have artists come out, we do it the first Saturday in June, which will be June 6th next year. And we got a blues alley up there too with all my dad and them pictures up on there. And then we got me and my nephew set all us on the other side. There's a blues alley down there. And I mean, we it's a good thing, good going on like that, you know what I'm saying? And I keep my dad and them enjoying them all going, everybody that's involved with the whole Fat Possum thing into that type of music and all, something going up in Ripley. So we've been doing it for 4 years and they gave me an opportunity to share my story and keep my dad name going up there, man. So they great people up there in Ripley, man. And so you got to check it out whenever you can get away.
I'm thinking that's the first Saturday in June in Ripley, Mississippi.
Yeah, it should be June 6th.
Next year. Well, maybe I'll come down there. Come straight down.
Right.
Chicago. That'd be good.
VIP.
So you got this gig on Saturday night here in Chicagoland. It's up in a town called Northbrook, which is pretty close to where I am right now. And it's a new club. It's called For the Record, North Shore Vinyl Club. And my understanding that people have to be a member of the club in order to come in, but you can sign up and be part of the club at the door. And this is going to be Saturday night coming up, and it's 225 Northfield Road in Northbrook, and it starts at 8 o'clock. And everyone is invited.
Right, exactly.
Where do you head to next after that gig?
Well, there's something I got to play in Memphis at the radio station called the Blues and Brews radio station with Rick Cheddar, ain't it? Something like Rick Cheddar. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that this Sunday right after them, and I'm be on the radio station and stuff. Then August 29th, I'm gonna be at the Ground Zero in Biloxi.
So there's a lot of activity down south, but we're glad to have you here in Chicago for a day. That's good. Garry Burnside, let me pump you a little bit for some of the musicians other than your dad and Junior Kimbrough that have influenced you or that you like. Any genre, classical music, salsa, R&B. What are some of the things that come to your mind as people who, that music is embedded in your heart and soul?
Well, I listen to Stevie Ray. You know what I'm saying? I like Stevie Ray Vaughan music, Jimi Hendrix and them, and I listen to Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and them also. But I seen a lot of guys play, my buddy guy, all of them, that jam out. Then I come up around the All-Star Luther Dixon, my brother Doin. It was just so many artists that I was around.
You got any hobbies? What do you do besides doing music?
I shoot a little pool, a little basketball, You know what I'm saying? I don't do too much dancing.
And then let me ask you another question. I ask this of a lot of musicians because I know I've been around a lot of clubs. I ran a joint myself, a couple of them for a number of years. And there's a lot of drinking and partying, and I've seen a lot of people go out early. And I got into being sort of, doing a lot of running and eating healthy food. I'm just wondering what you do to take care of yourself, because you're a treasure. You're an up-and-coming treasure.
Well,
how are you taking care?
I get a lot of rest. I get a lot of sleep.
Now, that's good. It's my time now. Is it going to be just a CD, or is it going to be on vinyl too?
It's on both. Yeah, it's on vinyl and CD.
And the record label is a new one on me. It's called Strolling Bones Records. Tell me a little bit about your label.
My manager hooked me up with them and stuff. So, but I mean, they all great guys stuff out there.
Where are they out of? Where's Strolling Bones Records out of?
Athens, Georgia.
Okay, well, you got anything you want to share with me about life in Mississippi these days? How's the politics down there? Any justice coming along? Got a rough history.
Yeah, well, I stay out of politics. The best way to fight it is stay out of it, I guess.
Unless we get control of it a little bit, it's going to be real bad luck in the city. You're going to be at the North Shore Vinyl Club, and that is this Saturday night, 16th of August, 225 Northfield Road. And I hope you have a great turnout. You can try to remember me if I show up in Mississippi.
Same here, man. Thanks.
Okay, everybody, still listening to Live from the Heartland. Stay tuned here on the left end of your dial, and we'll be right back a little more music. Welcome back to Live from the Heartland for the week of August 15th. I'm still Michael James. I'm still up here in the 49th Ward. We're still a blue place. A lot of people like justice and fairness. And it always gives me a pleasure to talk with my cousin Adam, who's out there in Los Angeles, working away as a young actor, screenwriter, and a lot of other jobs, like a lot of people in those industries. And he played football at Northwestern. He lived here for a while, and he has keen eye on a lot of things going on, not only sports, but a little bit of politics. So as we do each month here on Live from the Heartland, we grill Adam on whatever he wants to share. So good day to you, Adam James.
Hello there. Hello, everybody in the Heartland. It's great to be here. Always a pleasure. Always an honor.
Okay, so you were a football player. And you've become a martial artist and an actor, and you have a lot of things on your plate. But we see that the college football is coming back. It's a little bit in disarray with the deal where people are being bought to go play here or go play there. And
that's one way to look at it.
I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
A good thing. I know you were into the players being remunerated, and I'm for that too.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if the current system's going to work, but we see that University of Texas is now rated number 1 going in over these Big Ten teams. What do you got to say about football? First college and then a little bit on the pros.
Well, I love it. That's my first thing to say. I love football. Football's great. It's a great game. It can be, a rough game. It has definitely chewed up and spit out some people through the years. And but it's also been a sport that has given to the community in so many ways. And this is an exciting time of year. Yes, we're in the midst of summer, and we're not playing football right now unless you really play football. Because right now are the summer camps and the preseason games in the NFL. So for those of us that really love the game, this is a really exciting time. And if you really do get excited about football season, this is a time to really dig in and read about your favorite teams, what they're doing, how they're preparing, what the depth chart looks like. If you can, get out and watch some of the teams practice. These summer camps are actually open to the public. Not all of them, most of them are. Your favorite college team, even your favorite high school team. And of course, these NFL teams, it's like a big business now for their practices. You get to go and sit there on the sideline and watch. So again, for those of you who love this sport, this is an exciting time just to go out, watch the coaches drilling the players, seeing the communities come out and high five the players as they walk out to the practice field. This is a time when teams, have a little bit of a, glistening in their eye that everybody can see themselves winning the championship at the end of the year. So let's talk a little Chicago sports teams with football, right? So first of all, I guess we got to bear down and talk about the biggest one in the room, and that's our favorite Chicago Bears, right? How are they looking this year? Well, what do you think, Michael? Let me ask you first.
I tell you what's on my agenda about that. There used to be a wonderful racetrack, Arlington, and it was a beautiful place. And the Bears bought it; they tore it down, and they are talking about very seriously all of a sudden about moving there rather than building a new stadium to their liking. I'm going to have a hard time having the passion for them, and they'll still be in Illinois, so they're still like a blue state team. But I don't really like the move to Arlington Heights.
So yes, before we talk stadiums, let's talk, 2025 season. And the Chicago Bears team does look like it is aligned for a good season. They have a great young quarterback. He was the Heisman Trophy winner out of USC. He is a really terrific player. He just hasn't had the tools all around him. And now he does. He's got great offensive weapons. He's got a great offensive line. They brought in some free agents. And of course, the key piece of all of this is they hired probably the number one candidate to be a new head coach in the NFL. His name is Ben Johnson. He was the offensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions. So for you Bears fans that don't like the Lions, now you got the Lions ex-coach running your Bears. But, listen, he is a really great coach. And Caleb Williams, the quarterback, should thrive under the direction of the new head coach. So let's see how the Bears do. The other part of all of this is their defense, which everybody who loves the Bears knows that it's all about Monsters of the Midway, Big D, and they are a very strong defense. They should have a really good year on that side of the ball as well. So bear down, go Bears. They should have a great year. Now, when it comes to stadiums, it's true. There's a lot of uncertainty, I guess is the right word, right now about the Chicago Bears stadium situation. But there's an exciting and definitely a very positive stadium right now being built just north of the city in Evanston for the other favorite Chicago sports team for football fans, and that's the Northwestern Wildcats.
Your team.
Yes, sir. So this is an exciting stadium. Listen, let me tell you something. This is a stadium that's being talked about throughout college sports, throughout the world, actually, in regards to sports stadiums, venues. They're building a smaller stadium for the Northwestern Wildcats. A lot of the Big Ten stadiums seat 80,000. And of course, the big house up there in Michigan and the stadium for the Ohio State Buckeyes, they are monsters, 100,000 plus. But this stadium for Northwestern, they decided to go with a smaller stadium and really up the quality of the experience for the fans. So they built it like a bowl so that the sound effect is more focused and also the viewing angles are ideal. On top of that, the other technical thing that they've done, which is really unique, is they're building it with these large canopies over the top, like the stadiums in Europe for the soccer. These canopies protect the fans during rough weather. They also minimize sound coming out of the stadium so that the community around it is not as affected. And then it also kind of rebounds the sound back into the stadium so that the sound effect is even greater and stronger. So this little stadium is coming up fast. It has another year to go. So this is kind of a funny thing, too, about the Northwestern Wildcats football team is last year and this year again, they're going to be playing their home games next to their practice facility on campus. This little field is actually their lacrosse soccer field, which has been converted to a temporary football venue with some stands. The stands that they've created were built by a company that makes stands for the F1 Formula One races. They're very beautiful, very strong, but they're temporary. They can go up and be brought back down without a lot of impact to the community. So this little stadium is right now being utilized by the Northwestern Wildcats. It's right on the lake. It only seats, I think, 15,000. So it's really small. But for those who are in Chicago, who love college football, this is a unique experience. This year, 2025, go up to Evanston, catch a game on campus at Northwestern, and watch the Wildcats play. Whoever it is they're playing that weekend, there's a bunch of great games on campus this year.
There was a lot of controversy around them building the new stadium, and it came from the community. But
Yes.
Clearly they're making efforts to make it simpatico with the community. And the mayor, who had initially been opposed to it, and that guy named Daniel Biss, who's been on this show, he is actually going to run for Congress. He did take some pushback from progressives about his stand on the stadium. Anyhow, that's a little backstory.
Yes, and no doubt about it, whenever a stadium is being created in a community, there's always a lot of input. Not all of it is positive. There's people in the community who are impacted in ways that, go beyond just having a football game in town. So we definitely have to pause and listen to those voices. In this case, this was a really special project. The Ryan family put up the money. This was not something that the community had to put any money towards. It was a privately funded project. And they also really took time to listen to the community, find out what their needs were, what their concerns were, and then make adjustments. So some of the sound effecting that they've done for that stadium has been part of that planning. Also, really just embracing the community's needs outside of, a dozen or so football events and other major events each year. They want the stadium to go beyond just this venue for occasional events and really make it something that the entire community can participate with all year round, every day. So they're going to have, areas around the complex that will have various community, things going on, especially during game day.
Another thing that is in the news, and it's we're not fans of the current president of the United States, but he's redoing the White House, so to speak, and he wants to have a wrestling event right on the lawn at the White House. What do you got on that, Adam?
Well, it's not wrestling. Let's be clear. First of all, the sport is called mixed martial arts, and the organization. Yes, exactly, and the organization that is the dominant, association for this sport is called UFC, or Ultimate Fighting Championships. Now, I'm a huge fan of the sport of MMA. I am an instructor of MMA, and I have a lot of friends that have fought professionally, fought in the sport, in the UFC, and it is a great sport. It's grown over the years from something that was a very base activity, people just fighting, and over the years it's grown into a legitimate athletic sport. Weight classes, proper athletic checks, and yet this is something that's been a concern for a lot of people about this organization. Now, UFC is kind of like NFL. There's the sport of football, and then there's the league, the National Football League, or baseball. You've got the sport of baseball. It's played all over the world by great players and fans. Here in America, there's one organization, Major League Baseball, that we often will go and see those games. So UFC is like that. It is an organization that organizes fights. The gentleman who's the head of UFC, Dana White, I've actually met him before, and he is a controversial character in many ways. But I think the thing that a lot of people are very concerned about is that he utilized his platform to, basically be a propaganda piece for the president of the United States and his efforts to get reelected. Now, however you feel about politics, whether you're for him or against him, that type of usage of a platform is concerning. And what's also really concerning about UFC is that, Dana, while he's absolutely, pushed for various positions, he's also taken a hands-off freedom of speech approach to others. And what I mean by that is that there's one fighter, and there's more than that, trust me, who is an open Nazi. I mean, he literally has come out on public talks, embracing Hitler as his hero, arguing against and being a Holocaust denier, and also absolutely LGBTQ, anti, and yet he continues to fight on that league. Most organizations would, terminate an employee who's openly embraced hate speech. Most organizations would certainly not allow an employee who has done these things to be in a prominent position where they're getting more views and more looks and more opportunities and more money. That's a concern that the UFC has chosen to not remove that person from their roster, so to speak. But that's up to them. I am, again, a fan of the sport, but not a fan of this upcoming event on the lawn of the White House. One person wrote the other day, they could have had a baseball game on the lawn of the White House back in the early years with Babe Ruth and all those guys, because that was America's sport. They could have had a boxing match on the lawn of the White House with the great Joe Louis and the other great champions of America through the years. They could have done so many things, but you know why they don't? Because the White House is the leader of our country. It is meant to be a place where we are taking on serious problems. There are serious issues in this country right now. And the idea that the president of the United States is going to pause and have a big party for his friend who helped him get reelected, that to me is a concern. I want our country to be strong. And that doesn't sound like something that's going to make us stronger. It sounds like a great big party.
Adam, let's take a look at where you're living out there in LA. In recent times, we've had the president bringing the National Guard and the Marines into LA. We've got the fires going on in LA and the aftermath of the fires. And we have the Olympics coming up with some people starting to question whether the U.S. should be able to host them. Talk a little bit about what's going on in Los Angeles from your perspective.
Well, first of all, Los Angeles has oftentimes of late received a lot of negative press. And, I understand because there's serious problems in this country and in this city. But let's be serious. Los Angeles is one of the great cities of the world. This is a beautiful, incredible city with talented, intelligent people doing really important and wonderful things in this world. So Los Angeles has so many great things going on. It's an incredibly diverse city. This is a city that has, so many different people from so many different parts of the world, so many different languages being spoken every day when you walk down the street, so many different amazing foods and cultural experiences happening. So, this town is definitely thriving in so many ways. But we took a big punch. We took a gut punch with that fire recently. It literally destroyed two major areas of our greater city, specifically the Palisades and the Altadena area. So, we're still reeling from that, actually. There's still people who are out of their areas that they've lived their whole lives. They've lost everything, and they're still trying to, recapture that, regain their footing. We also are a city that has been impacted greatly by the new president's policies about immigration. The city has been targeted. It has had troops sent here, and there's been activities that have caused major concerns amongst certain, citizens of our greater community that has caused them to have incredible fear and concern about their well-being, and that's disturbing. There was an ICE apprehension that happened right outside of a high school the other day, and the person who was apprehended was a special needs student who was misidentified, but he was grabbed, he was handcuffed, he was detained, all of which happened right in front of the high school, in front of all the other students, and so the high school just flipped out. They just, they didn't know what to do. This is the kind of thing that causes a lockdown. When you have people with guns standing on the doorstep of the school has to go locked down. Even though these guys were wearing, I guess, badges, they also had masks and they were not identifying themselves. So all this thing caused a lot of consternation. The city continues to do its best under these circumstances. And there are some really big things coming our way in the next few years. The Olympics are going to be here. And as you may know, the President of the United States made the decision to take control of a lot of the Olympic planning. His efforts to plan things have not always gone well, as we all know. He didn't handle probably the biggest issue that happened during his presidency, and that was the COVID pandemic. He just didn't handle it well. Didn't handle it well from a management leadership standpoint. So how he's going to handle this, it'll be interesting to see. But this city could really use a break right now. This is a city, and our country could really use something really positive. And so let's all hope that the Olympics goes well, that it's safe, it's well executed. I've been reading a lot about the plans for Los Angeles and how they're going to be executing this Olympics, and it's really great. Part of the plan is they're going to have multiple locations spread over the city so that there's no deep concentration of people causing some of the logistics to have glitches, so to speak. Instead, they're going to be utilizing some of Los Angeles' iconic sports venues that are already here. So they don't need to build anything new. They're going to update some of those facilities. They're going to be getting them ready for the various sports that they're going to be hosting in these facilities, and they're going to execute it. I have a really good feeling it's going to go tremendously well.
Well, that's good to hear, because I did hear Gordon Thompson was on our show a couple of weeks ago, and he had reported on something that was in the San Francisco Chronicle about the Olympics being moved. And I still know how, if athletes and tourists from other countries are going to feel safe coming to the United States these days. Have you seen anything about people questioning? I know Dave Zirin questioned the Olympics being held, and there was that article in the San Francisco Chronicle. Have you heard anything around that?
Look, right now, there's concerns about everything. I mean, you could look down the road in just 1 month, let alone a year from now, let alone 3 years from now, and have real concerns about how it's going to unfold. No doubt about it. There are people who are floating that idea. Let's move the Olympics out of Los Angeles. Both from Los Angeles can't handle it to we don't want it run there by, the president, all those views. But the truth of the matter is there's no way they're going to move the Olympics out of Los Angeles at this point. The Olympic movement, the Olympic planning has been going on. So much money and effort has been spent already And to actually execute this in another city, it takes tremendous effort planning, from security to logistics of providing for the athletes, the fans, all of that. So no, it's not going to move. The only way it's not happening in Los Angeles if some catastrophe occurs. And let's not see that, everybody. Again, sports is supposed to bring us together. Sports is supposed to be something that makes us better as people and as a society, challenging us, be our best, support each other, good sportsmanship, all that kind of stuff. So let's support that and let's celebrate sports.
You're into sports, but you also are an actor and you pay close attention to the entertainment industry. Back to Los Angeles, what has been the effect of the fires and National Guard coming in and what's going on around with our immigrants in terms of the film industry?
So the film industry is one that is right now navigating its way. There's tremendous changes that are happening in how product is created and how it's delivered, how it's accepted, embraced, and rejoiced. All of these things are very fluid. Now, they always have been. You go back to the early era of entertainment, from people sitting around a campfire and making each other laugh and sing along. These changes occur with the whims of what are people interested in. But now we're also being affected by technology and how product is made, created, and delivered. So there's a lot of issues there, from AI and how it's going to affect the creative process and the loss of jobs, to how it could be beneficial and help create more product because we can be even more efficient and spend less on things we didn't need to, and therefore invest more money in other aspects of the filmmaking process. There are people who look at this in both positive and negative ways. We'll see how that all unfolds. However, in regards to this city, again, the entertainment industry, the film industry here has gone through a series of gut punches. The COVID pandemic definitely hurt the film industry. But right around this time also were three massive strikes that also just put a slowdown, a downshifting, so to speak, of everything that was happening with the engine of Hollywood. So now here we are in 2025, the engine is not quite cranked up back to where it was before all those strikes. It has not gotten back to where it was before the pandemic. It has also had a challenge with the product itself. There was a really interesting article recently here in Los Angeles about how the entertainment industry for the last few decades has taken a pencil pusher approach, a accountant's view of how films should be made. In other words, if movies make money, I'm going to make another one. And if they don't make money, I'm never going to do that again. But the long-term effect from an art standpoint is only certain types of movies get made. The movies that are shiny and taste good, but the ones that might be tough to swallow, but make you really think and might change how you view the world, those tend to not be made as much anymore. And this is a problem from an art standpoint. We end up with an industry that only creates the same type of product for the same type of audience, and the overall greater population starts looking somewhere else. And so this article that I read was saying that Hollywood has a problem from that standpoint, that they literally have not invested in themselves. And the only way to make it back out of that is to start making films that are the independent films, the interesting films, the films that don't make money, so to speak. And Hollywood's not going to do that. So, but again, I'm a believer in the positive. I do feel that our industry is going to recover and thrive more so than ever before. We do have some great leaders here. Not everybody loves them, but I do feel strongly that the governor of the state and the leaders of the film industry, everybody from our union, from the SAG-AFTRA to the studio heads, we're all working hard to get more filming done. And I really believe that we're going to turn the corner as an industry, continue to make great product, and Hollywood and the entertainment industry will continue to be the world's greatest. Listen, I'm a big believer in capitalism and freedom. I know that there's some social aspects of life that we need more teamwork, so to speak, and support, housing and support for those that are in the most need. But I'm a big believer in letting things flow, letting the public decide. And so when it comes to what people find interesting, that's where independent filmmakers thrive. They get out there and they make things that people really would love to see.
Adam, let me ask you finally about a particular production you're involved with. It's an independent series made for cable, I believe. And, you play the Man of Copper. And
yes.
Just give us a real quick on the progress on that.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I am part of a project called Doc Savage, Man of Copper. It is an inspired by streaming series, inspired by the original 1930s Pulp Fiction character, Doc Savage, he himself was the inspiration for Batman, Superman, and Indiana Jones. So a producer from Fresno, California, Valleywood LLC, had approached me at a martial arts event called Dragon Fest to play this role. And I was very honored to have the part. It's a small little independent project, speaking of independent. We filmed it in downtown Fresno, along with a community group called the Community Media Access Collaborative. It's basically a little community group that supports filmmaking and the media process. And we were very honored to work with the local Fresno film crews and cast. The show is now streaming on Stash TV. We've got 3 20-minute episodes. It's a lot of fun. It tries to capture some of that spirit of the early radio, a little bit of the early Pulp Fiction and comic books. So we try to bring a little bit of that feel to life here. And we're hoping that people like it and want us to do a season 2. And I'm, of course, excited about opportunities to work with you again and with Hal and all the filmmakers that I know. Again, Hollywood is thriving in so many ways. We're just getting our legs back underneath us, and we're looking forward to some great things in 2025 and 2026 and beyond.
Right on, Adam. Thanks a lot. It's time for me to say a couple of things. If you want to support the show, we'd love to have you send us some information. We'll fill you in at Live from the Heartland show at gmail.com. I will be at the Glenwood Avenue Arts Fest Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and 17th. And stop by my booth. I'll be right underneath the L tracks at Morse Avenue. So thank you to our engineer, Hal James. Thank you to our producer, Lynn Orman, to Katie Hogan, to Tom Clark, to all of our guests. Keep doing good in the world. The world needs all the good that we do together. All power to the people. Over and out. See you next week. Thank you for watching the Live from the Heartland show. New episodes air every Friday beginning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Episodes air each following Thursday on CAN TV, 9 p.m. in Sweet Home Chicago on Channel 21 or streaming everywhere else at cantv.org. Audio episodes go live on WLUW each Saturday, 9 a.m. on the left end of your dial at 88.7 FM or streaming everywhere worldwide at WLUW.org. They're available on Apple and Spotify podcasts by looking up Live from the Heartland on either platform, and are also broadcast on Lumpen Radio each Friday at 9 a.m. on 105.5 FM and streaming at lumpenradio.com. I'm Michael James, and I'm glad to have been your host. Until next time, remember, do good in the world because the world needs all the good that you do, that I do, that we do together. All power to the people. Over and out.
Come to limb. Are you doing the best you can? Tell me, are you doing